In the previous lesson, we talked about solving system of linear equation using the substitution technique. In this lesson, we are going to talk about another way of solving linear equations using the technique called elimination. The way the technique works is very simple. You try to have the coefficient of either the variable x or y the same. Then you are going to either add or subtract the two equations to eliminate either x or y. Then you're going to end up with the other variable, which is x or y, and then you can solve it and find x and then or either y and then find the other variable. The technique is very simple, and I'm going to show you how the technique works using a couple of examples. The first example is to solve the linear system using elimination. The system is 3x plus y is equal to 19 and 4x minus y is equal to 2. If you look at these two equations, you can see that the coefficient of y in both of them, the absolute value is 1. So if I just add the two equations, you can see that y is going to be eliminated. And that's why the system is called elimination. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add simply the two equations. So 3x plus 4x is going to give me 7x. Y and minus y is going to give me 0, and then 19 plus 2 is going to give me 21. Now, this is a simple linear equation. To find x, I'm going to divide both sides by 7. So if I divide both sides by 7, I'm going to get x is equal to 3. So this is my x value. To find the y value, I'm going to pick any one of these two equations, substitute x equal to 3 and find y. I'm going to pick the second equation because the coefficient of y is -1. So I'm going to get 4x, but x is 3, so 4 times 3 minus y is equal to 2. This gives me 4 times 3 is 12. Minus y is equal to 2. If I move 2 to the right, I get negative y is equal to 2 minus 12, which is going to give me negative 10. Divide both sides by negative 1. I get y is equal to 10. So point of intersection of the two lines is going to be 3 at 10. Now the second part of the question says check your solution. To check the solution, we have to substitute the point 3 and 10 in the equation and see if left is equal to right. So let's take the first equation, this one. So I'm going to get 3 times, but x is 3, so 3 times 3 plus y is 10. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 10 gives me 19, which is correct. The next one, 4 times x is 3, minus y minus 10 gives me 12 minus 10, which is 2, which is also correct. So this means that the point of intersection is going to be the point 3 and 10. The next equation says solve the linear system using elimination. The system is 10x plus 4y is equal to -1, and 8x minus 2y is equal to 7. This example is different from the other one that we just did, is that the coefficients are not the same. So first we have to decide which one we want to eliminate. I will decide y. The reason is that it's easy to change -2 to become 4. To do that one, I'm going to multiply the second equation by a constant, 2. So if I multiply the second equation by a constant 2, let's see what will happen. The first equation remains the same, meaning 10x plus 4y is equal to negative 1. But the second equation, I'm going to multiply everything on the left and the right by a constant 2. So 8 times 2 gives me 16x. Negative 2 times 2 gives me negative 4y. And 7 times 2 gives me 14. Now if you look at the first and second equation, you can see that 4y and negative 4y are opposite. So I can just simply add these two equations together. This means 10x plus 16x gives me 26x. 4y minus 4y gives me 0, so y is eliminated. And negative 1 plus 14 gives me 13. Now I divide by 26, and I get x is equal to 13 over 26, or 1 over 2. I'm not going to change it to 0.5. Get used to it. Just work with fractions. Do not use decimals unless the problem specifically says, use decimals. So if x is 1 over 2, I have to find what is y. To find y, I'm going to use either the first or second equation. I prefer the second equation, because it's easier to work with. So I'm going to say 8x, x is 1 over 2, minus 2y is equal to 7. Now remember, 8 is the same as 8 over 1. Now, if I want to multiply two fractions, I just multiply the numerators divided by product of the denominators. So this one becomes 8 times 1 is 8. 1 times 2 gives me 2, minus 2y is equal to 7. Or 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 minus 2y is 7. Now I'm going to bring this one to the right. So it changes sign and it becomes negative. So I get from here negative 2y is 7 minus 4, which is 3. Now I divide both sides by negative 2. I get y is equal to negative 3 over 2. So this means my point of intersection POI is going to be 1 over 2 and negative 3 over 2. Now again, we have to check the solution. So let's do first equation first. So I get 10x plus 4y is equal to 10 times 1 over 2 plus 4 times negative 3 over 2. 10 times 1 over 2, again, is 10 over 1. Product of the numerators is 10. Product of the denominator is 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. Plus, again, 4 over 1. Product of the numerator is negative 12. Product of the denominator is 2. So it's negative 12 over 2 is negative 6. Now 5 plus minus 6 is going to give me negative 1, which is the correct value. So this is correct. The next one is 8x. So 8 times 1 over 2 minus 2y. So minus 3 over 2 is going to become, again, 8 is 8 over 1. So 8 times 1 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Negative 2 can be written as negative 2 over 1. So negative 2 times negative 3 is 6. And 1 times 2 is going to give me 2. 6 divided by 2 is going to give me 3. So this is plus 3, which is 7, which is correct because it should be equal to 7. So this means that POI 1 over 2 and negative 3 over 2 is the correct solution here. The next example, we have to find the POI of the linear system 4x plus 3y is equal to 13, 5x minus 4y is equal to negative 7, and as usual we have to verify our answer. Now this example, if you look at it, is completely different from the other two examples, is that the coefficients are not the same. So this means pick a variable, decide which one to eliminate, then multiply each equation by the coefficient of the variable from the other equation to make the variables having the same coefficient. So let's see what I mean. First, I will decide to get rid of y. Why? No special reason. So to make the variables having the same coefficient, if you look at this equation here, I'm going to multiply every term by the coefficient of the variable in the second equation. So I multiply everything, the first equation by 4. Because the absolute value is negative 4 is just 4. So 4x times 4 is 16x. Plus 3y times 4 is 12y. And 13 times 4 is going to give me 52. Now I multiply every term in the second equation by the coefficient of y, the absolute value of it, of the first equation. The first equation, the coefficient of y is 3, so I multiply the second equation by 3. So I get 5x times 3 is 15x. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12y. And negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. Now if you look at the variable y, you can see that they have different opposite coefficient, but the same absolute value, which is 12. So if I just add them, I'm going to eliminate y. So if I add these two equations, I get 16x plus 15x is 31x. 12y minus 12y is going to give me 0, is going to be equal to 52 minus 21 is going to give me 31. Now I divide both sides by 31 and I get x is equal to 1. Now I pick any of these equations and substitute x equal to 1 and find y. So I'm going to pick the first equation. I get 4 times 1 plus 3y is equal to 13. From here I get 4 plus 3y is equal to 13. Move 4 to the right and change it to negative. I get 3y is equal to 13 minus 4, which is 9. Divide both sides by 3. I get y is equal to 3. So this means that POI, point of intersection, now becomes 1 and 3. Now to verify our answer, we're just going to substitute it back in both equations. The first equation, we get 4 times x is 1 plus 3 times y is 3. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 times 3 is 9. 4 plus 9 is 13, which is the correct value. So the first one is okay. The second one, 5 times x1 minus 4 times y, which is 3. I get 5 times 1 is 5. Minus 4 times 3 is 12. 5 minus 12 is negative 7. So this is correct. This means that POI 1 and 3 is correct solution. In the last example, we have a small store which sells used CDs and DVDs. The CDs, they sell for $9 each. The DVDs sell for $11. Cody works part-time and sells a total of $204 worth of CDs. So let's introduce variables here. Let's say I say that X is equal to number of CDs sold and Y to be equal to number of DVDs sold. We have to find out how many CDs and how many DVDs, meaning we have to find X and Y. I know that in one shift, the total amount sold is 204. I don't know how many CDs are sold, but I know that every CD is $9. So if we assume that X number of CDs are sold, so the contribution of CDs to this $204 is 9X. Remember, every CD is $9. And the same way, the contribution of the DVDs is 11Y. If you add them together, you have to get 204. So this is the first equation. Remember, you have to have the same number of equations as your unknowns or variables. I have two variables. Right now I have only one equation. I cannot solve this one and get unique answers. I need another equation. The other equation comes from this fact that the total number of items sold is 20 items. So this means X plus Y is 20. Now I have two equations and two unknowns. I can go ahead and solve it. To solve this one, look at the second equation. If I try to eliminate Y, I need to multiply the second equation by 11. So if I do that, I get the first equation is unchanged. But the second equation, if I multiply everything by 11, I get 11X plus 11Y is equal to 20 plus 11 is 220. Now, if you look at the Y have the same coefficient, so if I subtract the second equation from the first equation, or the first equation from the second equation, I can eliminate Y. So for this purpose, I'm going to subtract this equation from this equation. And the reason I do that, because then I get a positive coefficient for X. So 11X minus 9X gives me 2X. 11Y minus 11Y gives me 0. 220 minus 204 is going to give me 16. Now if I divide by 2, I get 16 divided by 2 is 8. So X is 8. This means that the total number of CDs sold is 8. The next one, I have to find Y. To find Y, I'm going to pick any one of these equations. As you can guess, I will pick the second equation because the coefficients are 1. So I'm going to say X is 8 plus Y is 20. Move this one to the right and change the sign. So Y is 20 minus 8 is equal to 12. So this means that Cody has sold 8 CDs and 12 DVDs. I will leave checking the solution for you. You can check it and you can see that X equal to 8 and Y equal to 12 is the correct answer.